Hello, and welcome back to an all new episode of Caregivers Community. Let's put the care back in caregiving. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about unrealistic expectations on caregivers that we give ourselves and the reality of those unrealistic expectations. So, most unrealistic expectations that we obviously put on ourselves, especially as family caregivers, are ones that we have the control to fight this disease, that we can cure it, which is not usually the case. We cannot cure diseases, but we feel like it is our job to. We feel when we put unrealistic expectations on ourselves too, we're often going to feel we're going to feel so much anger, resentment, anxiety, even burnout, because we do those things to ourselves. We feel so responsible. We feel so guilty about just having to carry everything on our shoulders. We feel like we have to do it alone. The endless to-do lists, from cleaning the house to cooking the meals to grocery shopping to caring for the loved one or friend that we are caring for. There's an endless to-do list, and we feel like we have to go it alone most of the time. We feel like we have to carry the load by ourselves. We feel like we have to expect nobody to help us because it is our responsibility, and it's obviously not fair that we do put that expectation on ourselves to a high standard. It's the unrealistic expectations really do cause us to have these invasive thoughts, could lead to depression and anxiety because we put on so much pressure onto ourselves. It's unfair that we do this. Sometimes we have no control over our thoughts and our mind because we are dealing with a loved one, and they do count on us for everything, from feeding them to helping them around the apartment to washing them to making sure that they have somebody to lean on and talk to, and they feel never alone, and spending time with them. It's not just about the chores of the progress. It's about spending time with them and listening to them vent when they need to vent, or bounce ideas off of somebody, or get ideas from you to talk to their doctors. There's a high expectation that we have to do and be everything, and it is impossible to reach. It's not necessarily easy to reach that. There is a lot of anxiety, like I said, and depression because of it. Burnout leads to burnout because we just forget to take care of ourselves. I mean, we even put off our own doctor's appointments sometimes because we are so wrapped up in caring for somebody else that we do put our health on the back burner because we have such high expectations of what we have to do as this job. And it's sometimes is not very it's not very rewarding at times. It's difficult to watch somebody that you love or a friend go through something that you have no control over, you have no answers for, you have no a way of helping, and it could be very distraught at times. It could be emotional for you and the person that you're caregiving for. This is not an easy this is just not an easy job, and it can be rewarding at times. Not to get it wrong, it's definitely rewarding, but the high expectations that we put on ourselves, to just put everything else on pause to take care of a person, or to even think that we can cure a disease which we cannot cure, or have all the answers that we are supposed to provide for somebody. And I don't think that, in my situation anyways, my mother tells me all the time that I don't need to have all the answers, that she just wants somebody to listen to. But there is an aspect of guilt that goes along with caregiving, because I feel like I have to have all the answers, and I feel like she wouldn't maybe necessarily be alive without me, and I feel guilty about that. And I think that guilt and having these high expectations are a lot to do with loving somebody. I think that we put these high expectations on ourselves because we do love the person that we are caring for, or the friend or the loved one that we are caring for. And these high expectations are only um, love coming out in very weird ways. I know that sounds crazy, but I really do think that, like, high expectations, especially unrealistic ones, are just our emotions of love and compassion and empathy coming out in the weirdest way that our brain creates. And high expectations, we really do not have much control over. We just have to, um, when we find ourselves having these high expectations, I usually have to pause, stop, reflect, and see, and tell myself, can I actually achieve that? And accepting help is also one of the major things that help with the high expectations, though it's not easy to have help in any scenario, in any way, to ask for help. As human beings, it's really difficult for us, especially I think as caregivers, it's really difficult to ask for help in any capacity, because we do feel like it is our responsibility. But asking for help really can slow down the burnout. And when we pause and reflect on these high expectations that we do carry on ourselves, these high expectations that turn into high burdens, if we reflect on them and we find out a way to pause and think, can we actually execute this high expectation, or is it impossible? I think it gives us a chance to actually reflect and to acknowledge the fact that we are only human. We can't save everybody, though we try to. And we are doing the best that we possibly can. And we can't burn ourselves out. We can't beat ourselves up because we are not executing everything that we possibly can. We're just human beings, and we need to acknowledge that, just as the people that we are caring for are human beings. So if we're going to put the care back in caregiving, we also need to put the care back into ourselves. And with our intrusive thoughts, we need to stop and pause for a little bit and reflect, because these high expectations, and we all have different high expectations and sometimes the same high expectations of ourselves as caregivers, and it really can slow down the process of actually taking care of the person rather than what we can fix. So just remember that these thoughts are not your reality most of the time, that you are doing the best that you can, that you're doing more than the best that you can, you're doing more than enough, and that you need to give yourself a pat on the shoulder. You need to have a little bit of a space where you can maybe go for a walk in the mornings, or whenever you have time to be maybe alone, to walk out in nature, or to break out in a mini solo dance in the kitchen. Just do something that's kind for yourself, because when these intrusive thoughts do happen, you're going to beat yourself up. You're going to create burdens that aren't necessarily there, and you're going to just feel horrible every day. And to break out of those things, you have to move your body around. You have to connect back into your body, which I find is helpful. And you need to just dance it off. You need to walk it off. You need to even drive around if you have to, just do something that you love just for a little while, and just to forget about the responsibilities that you have, because these high expectations aren't necessarily real, but they're made up in our heads. And when we connect back into our bodies and relax a little bit, I think that we can be kinder to ourselves, and we can actually relax a little bit better, and we can better serve the person that we are caring for. So, once again, let's put the care back in caregiving. And thank you for watching another episode of Caregivers Community. I am your host, Danielle Gray. We're doing things a little bit backwards today for some reason. And I am a family caregiver to my mom, who has stage 3 metastatic cancer. And if you have any comments below on what high expectations you carry for yourself, please leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from everybody on my channel. I appreciate it. I really want this to feel like a community for family caregivers to unite and to share their stories so we can better understand each other, better serve each other, and better help each other. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to watch if you want to see my upcoming videos, just click on the notification bell, and you will be updated every time a new video comes out. And once again, thank you for watching this video, and bye for now. Until next week, I will see you again, and let's put the care back in caregiving.